There is harmony in our family. We resolve all conflicts without bringing them to the public eye, and we have a wonderful, intimate life. Sounds good, you say. I agree, except for one thing: her family. Her parents absolutely hate me, and her brother Jason and sister Emma periodically threaten me and try to convince my wife to leave me soon. I can't openly say that her in-laws are intolerable, so after 5 years together, we moved to the other side of the country to create some distance. It was a difficult decision, but we hoped it would help us build a peaceful life without her family interfering. For a while, it worked, and we enjoyed time together, just the two of us, away from the constant pressure and tension that her in-laws brought into our lives. But just a week ago, her mother sent my beloved a cheery message that Emma would be coming to stay with us for a week or two. Sighing heavily, I told Hannah that there was no way to avoid it. We knew it wouldn't be easy, but we couldn't just say no to her. And so the day came. I headed to the airport to pick up her favorite relative. As soon as I saw her, my stomach twisted into knots. Her demeanor was the same as I remembered: cold, judgmental, and dismissive. No matter how hard I tried to hide my disgust, Emma noticed it immediately. But she didn't try to be friendly to me. She gave me a condescending smile that spoke volumes. Anyway, in an atmosphere of mutual dislike, we headed home. On the way, she kept talking, trying to hurt me by comparing me to her ex-husband, who she said was a real man and knew how to treat her sister properly. The saddest days of my life began. Emma hardly ever left the house, and I had to see her all too often. Her presence was like a dark cloud hanging over our house. She made snide remarks about everything I did, from the way I cooked to the way I dressed. She criticized my work, my hobbies, and even the way I talked to Hannah. It seemed like she was constantly trying to drive a wedge between us, and it was exhausting. I tried my best to ignore her, but her constant negativity was getting to me. I couldn't seem to relax in my own home. But finally, the day came when Emma left in the morning. My happiness knew no bounds. Hannah and I spent the entire day, just the two of us, free from the constant judgment and tension. We laughed, cooked together, and enjoyed each other's company in a way we hadn't in days. In the evening, we decided to give ourselves over to passion. We felt like we were reclaiming our space, our love, and our intimacy. At the moment when my beloved wife was lying in front of me, completely undressed, and I was about to show her my mad desire, the phone rang. The sound ruined the moment, and my wife frowned as she spoke. After hanging up, she informed me that I had to go downstairs and pick Emma up from the cab. Apparently, her plans had changed, and she would be back early. After cursing a few times under my breath, I threw on my robe and reluctantly went to call the elevator. On the first floor, I found Emma leaning against the wall, looking a little disheveled. I took her hand and led her to the elevator. I pressed the button for our floor and stared at the ceiling in silence. The tension in the elevator was unbearable. After a couple seconds, Emma moved closer to me and unbuttoned her robe. She looked me in the eye, her expression unreadable, and then knelt down in front of me. I was too shocked to react. All I could do was hit the elevator stop button. The next few minutes felt surreal, like I was outside of my body, watching something I couldn't control. After a couple minutes, she stood up, adjusted her clothes, and pressed our floor button. And I continued to stare silently at the ceiling, now in my robe, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Guilt and confusion overwhelmed me, and I felt a deep sense of shame. The next day, Emma left, and since then, she had not said a bad word about me to my wife. Her attitude toward me seemed to change overnight. She no longer made snide remarks or tried to undermine my relationship with Hannah. On the contrary, she became almost cordial, which made me feel even more uneasy. I couldn't shake the feeling that what had happened in the elevator hung over us like a dark secret. I hadn't told Hannah, and I didn't know if Emma would, but the tension persisted. It was a strange and uncomfortable truce, and I couldn't help but wonder what Emma's true intentions were. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel.